What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Book is entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father at Amazon, Kindle, and Create Space. A link will be in the description box below as usual. This video is entitled Black America and Backwards Responsibility or Accountability. Whatever. I don't know if I talked about this before. I'm not too sure. I made too many videos. But let's get into it. In our community, we have groups like everybody else. But the thing about it is, the group doesn't fit the stereotype. What do I mean by this? You saw the videos of the young women getting beat in these stores, right? So with black men, who is the enforcement arm? It's supposed to be the gangsters and the thugs, right? So when you see these things happen, who you expect to show up? Because who the women said they feel most protected by was the gangsters and the thugs. But what you never see is the gangsters and the thugs showing up or making examples out of people. So, and though you're not supposed to see these guys on camera doing this stuff, I get that. These communities and other people don't have fear of repercussions because the gangsters and the thugs don't actually enforce anything, which is a problem. So what happens is, when women say they're not protected, they're talking about the men who aren't gangsters and thugs. Who some of these guys, they say they don't think they can protect them, that they're soft. So what winds up happening is, who gets let off the hook is the enforcement arm, right? Now let's reverse this. Who are the people who should be building a community? The athletes and entertainers. They should be the businessmen, the athletes and entertainers. This is who should be employing people and opening up business, the athletes and entertainers. Well, because that's a short shelf life, high risk, high reward industries where people come and go, and they may last 2-5 years tops on average. Their focus is on whatever they're doing. So to ask them to be an artist and an athlete and a businessman simultaneously, and they should employ people, is backwards. You know, because who should employ people is the people who we sent to school to be things. You know, this is why I said we're backwards in our responsibility. Because if you send people to school in the STEM field, if you send people to school to get an education, first and foremost, their education should give them skills. So we're sending people to school to get no skills, but to get a degree. And we're asking the people who entertain us to be our businessmen, while the people who went to get an education are looking to be employed by the people who play sports and do music and movies, when they should be the people who should be the lawyers, the agents, the financial advisors. Those are the people who should be the businessmen, the dentists, the doctors, so on and so forth. And what we do in our community, we're not pushing people to be those things, because those things are long-term skills. We're going for high risk, high reward, and we're hoping to get LeBron James, like he's Michael Jordan and Warren Buffett at the same time. That's not going to work. Not for the masses. It's not. So I think it's a backwards accountability. And you mad at the athletes and entertainers for not being, you know, the creators of industries, or, you know, they're not, because they can't have influence in courtrooms, and they don't build hospitals. Everybody can't beat Dikembe Mutombo. That's a problem in just ideology. We have this backwards accountability when it comes to the family structure. You know, for the most part, we are the only matriarchal community in America. And then all of a sudden, the problem is we're a matriarchal community. The men need to fix it. But the men got to fight the women and basically beat the women in the war of genders, not on and offline, to take control of the community and be constantly fighting the women because they want to be the head of the household. And because the men won't just utterly dominate and crush the women can't trust us. So it's like, okay. But when the community is under their decision making, basically, it's our fault. And they did nothing wrong. So that's a problem. It's backwards accountability. Then, on the flip side of that, you got the men who want the women to, won't you let me be a man and let me lead, and until you let me do it, I ain't gonna do it. It's your fault that I ain't gonna be a man. Well, see, not really. Not really. If you want to be a man, you have to do that. You have to put yourself in that position, and if these women choose to not be involved with your patriarchal structure, then that's their problem, not yours. But you still have to be the man and do your man part. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the, you can't blame the women for not creating and reinforcing your role as a man. That ain't their responsibility. And as men, we say this all the time: a woman can't raise a boy to be a man. So you can't. Why would you beg a woman for your manhood to let you be one? That's not gonna, doesn't work. So backwards accountability. Backwards accountability as far as education. We want to focus on things that we can't use as building or trades or skills. We run away from the very things that we need. We need more architects, more construction workers, more welders, more roofers, more people who can work with concrete and lay foundation, and more HVAC type people. You say we want a community we need to build a community, but we don't want to push the community into building industries. Like, we're going to build a community online. We want a real community. Now, we could use online as a way of commerce, absolutely. But if you want infrastructure and buildings, we're going to need people who can build those things. We're going to need engineers. We're going to need scientists. We're going to need, technicians and, mathematicians and, that type of stuff. We can't have it both ways. And, everybody wants to be, we want to build, but We just want to walk into something that we haven't built because we don't know how to build it. That ain't gonna work. You know, this ain't a Sims video game where you just hit the button on the computer and then energy plant, plumbing, electrical work, building, skyscrapers. It ain't gonna work like that. I don't even play video games, but I hope y'all know what I'm talking about. So I think it's backwards accountability because we're mad at people who we taught to be anything but builders, to be mad at them because they don't know how to build. It's like, really? You mad at, but you look down on the guy who's a garbage man, but guess what? He knows sanitation. You would need that. You look down on the welder. Guess what? He's low class. You're gonna need a welder. Somebody to work with to work with metal. You're gonna need these truck drivers. You're gonna need them. Oh, they just what do you do? Oh, I work in the building typing. Like, that ain't gonna build shit. You're gonna need these farmers. You get what I'm saying? Like, you're gonna need people who how can I say this? You're gonna need bean counters. You're gonna need these accountants to make sure everything is fiscally in the right shape. I'm sorry, we're not getting around that. Usher can't dance these numbers and figures, in the shape. He ain't gonna let it burn and shit. No, it's not finna happen. So this is a problem, backwards accountability, because we're putting it on the wrong groups, and we're letting the right groups, off the hook, or we're not investing in the right groups to get the right response. I know I said a lot, and I hope I wasn't incoherent. So let me know, because I'm done.